Howdy ho, my crafty friends. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. So today I thought we would make a cute little tab binding with these pages for our Alice in Wonderland journal. Now you can make this little tab binding any size journal, any size you want. This little journal that's going to go with the finished Alice in Wonderland journal just happens to be, they're 4x6 pages. And I see where I missed a little spot here. And they're made by little pages that came, that I had with the paper, the journal pages that I had with the paper that I'm using for the initial journal. And I kept thinking, what am I going to do with them? What am I going to do with them? I don't want to waste them. So I thought, well, we'll just make a little tab binding journal for them and put it with the journal. So when it's sold, the owner can decorate it any way they choose, or just have it as a little insert, or just something to play with. And it's a different binding that I haven't showed you guys before. So what I did was, there were several pages in it, and the back was white. It was solid white. So I glued the pages together so that now they are not white. And I'm going to flip through these and show you. Now they are not white. They all have a back to them. And after I did them, I let them dry completely overnight flat. And then I cut them in half. And I'm making sure that everything, I've trimmed everything, because that's important for this. I'm making sure I trimmed everything. These are like two of my favorites. I'm making sure everything is trimmed. Now, now, like I said, this can be made from any paper at all. And I've made these before with playing cards. I've made them with, and I tried to find it, but it's up on my top of my shelf, and I can't reach it. And my husband has forbidden me from climbing on chairs, which, you know, is my normal way of reaching my top shelf. As I grab a chair from the dining room, and I just start climbing. Do any of you guys do that? You know, you can't reach something, so you just start climbing. So, you know, you could ink your edges, you can round your corners. You can decorate these pages any way you choose in prep to make this, because it's a no-sew method. It is absolutely no sewing involved. And what you're going to need, of course, is you're going to need your scissors, because you need to prep your pages. And you're also going to have to decide, do you want to use fabric, which is what we're going to use today? Do you want to use washi tape? Now, if you're going to use washi tape, I recommend that you use the fabric washi tape, the Tim Holtz fabric, but you don't have to. The ones that I've made, I didn't use this, but this is a little sturdier. It's actually fabric, and it's sticky. Oh, it's a sticky wicket. But that's the one that I do recommend, and I think most creators recommend that. That's the white piece that I'm seeing. Because after you get this put together, you can't trim the edges that you bind. You can't trim them anymore. So you need to make sure all of your trimming is done. So if you're gonna ink anything, if you're going to round your corners, now's the time to do it. And now's the time to do it. Okay, so I'm just showing you that all my sides are covered in the order that I have them in. So I have them in the order that I want to bind them in. So now let's get these little teeny tiny scraps off the desk. Now what I did was, for my binding, was I took a piece of, it's just plain, it was just this. It's just plain cotton It's not called linen. I can't think of what it's called. I know what it's called. You know, it's off-white, creamy. Oh my gracious, Lori, where is your brain today? Words are hard today, you guys. Words are hard. Just plain cotton. But no, it's not even batting. Oh my word. I'll think of it as we're doing this. And I stamped. You know the stamps that we've been working in our journal? And I got out some colors that we worked in the journal with. I just cut me a piece of the fabric. And I just started stamping on the fabric. Now, I used ink. This is not done with oxide. I used the inks. I used black. I used the green, the same greens. I used the black oxide. I used, oh, I put it away, so get it out of my way. I used the gray. Hold on, I have the same colors in the oxides. Now remember, these are inks. They're not oxides. I used the black soot ink. I used, oh good gravy. What colors? What is that gray called? It's not frayed burlap. You know what a color is until you need to tell somebody, and then for the life of you, you can't remember what it's called. Do you ever have those moments? I know what it's called, but for the life of me, I can't remember what it's called. It's not, I used the scorched timber. Here's the scorched timber right here. And on fabric, they look totally different than what they look like on paper. Totally different. This is peeled paint. This is the red that we used. And I can't think of what it's called either. I'll get them out and I will tell you what they're called. But for some reason, they look totally different on fabric than they do on paper. Totally different. I was really surprised at the difference that they looked. I was really surprised. So let's get these up out of our way. And then I took the fabric. Let me get these up here out of our way so we don't have them in our way. Hold on a second. Okay, so then I took the fabric and I cut them into strips. And then I just cut them into little tabs. That's all I did. They're about 1 inch. Yeah, they're about 1 inch by 1 inch tabs. That's all I did. Okay. And I just cut a handful of them. And this is what I have left. So if I want to stamp some more on it, I can. But that's what I have left. So I'll save that. So, and then I'm going to use, since they're small, I'm just going to use my art glitter glue with my precision tip. Now, for your first one, you need to line them up next to you like this. For your first one, you turn it over. Okay, and on your very first one, you need 3. You need 3 tabs. And you put your print, if you're using something that has a print, you put the print down and you line them up like this. 1, 2, and I think I want something with more of a stamp on it. 3. Now you don't want it up at the very tippy top. You want to bring it down, and then you want your second one in the middle. Okay? You want them spaced out like that. Now lift it up and make sure they're all about even. Okay? Just about like that. And make sure it's not all the way at the bottom, and make sure it's not all the way at the top, and make sure that they're straight. Okay, I think that one can come down a little bit. And you want the same amount of space. The first one is the important one. Okay? Now, you want to lift up your page. Now, this is how I do it. Other creators are going to do the first page a little bit different. And I just take my glue And I just run a little bit of glue right here, because I don't want it to move around. I want it to stay where I put it. And I just spread my glue out with my finger. Okay. And then I bring this back. Oh, I don't have enough glue on there. There we go. Stay put. And then I'm going to do the same thing here. Because I know once that glue touches that paper, it's wherever it is. I don't have a choice but to accept it. So I need to make sure that it stays where I put it. Okay. So I'm going to keep my glue over here close to me. And I have got ink under my fingernails, so I apologize. And now I'm going to take this. And I know this went right up to that line. And now your first one's the most important one. And you just lay it down. Okay? You just lay it down. That's the most important one of all of them. And then you put it back where you had it. Now your second one, you lay over here on the top of it. And you can do the same thing, except you're only putting 2. You're putting 1 and 2. So pick your 2. 1. And I have mine just in little stacks so I can mix them up. 2. And I'm going to do the same thing for it. I'm going to turn them over. I'm going to make sure that they're even. And I'm going to make sure that they're in the middle. Like that. Just like that. And I'm just making sure that they're in the middle, because you know how art glitter glue is. And then I'm going to pick up my picture. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue down. It doesn't take a lot. And I'm going to put a little bit down here. And then I'm just going to lay it down where it needs to be. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. Now you've got your first one and your second one down. Now to attach these two, you're going to take your first one, your first 3. Okay, 1, 2, 3. You're going to put glue here. You're going to put glue here. You're going to put glue here. And you're going to bring glue up. I mean, you're not glue. You're going to bring your tab up. You're going to bring tab up. And you're going to bring tab up. Okay, now the first one is attached to the second one. Now for this one, you're going to bring it over. And we're going to attach 3. We're going to attach these 3 because these 3 are missing. So for my little stack, I'm just going to grab 3. And I'm going to put these 3 in the place where the other 3 were. I'm going to make sure my picture's lined up. And you're going to do that all the way down. You're just going to do this all the way down through your stack of pictures. There's 2. Oh, I already took out that stack. Now, you don't have to have stacks like I do. Just mine ended up when I cut them. I had, certain pictures here and certain pictures there, from my stamps. And I wanted to make sure I didn't have all of one stamp showing up and all of another stamp showing up. Now, you can also use, on my little playing cards that I used, what did I use? I used washi tape, just plain old washi tape, and I used glue stick. So if you're doing something that's a little smaller, you can use glue stick with your washi tape. Okay, so I've got this one down. So now I'm going to go down to the 2. 1, 2, and I'm going to pull these over. Okay, once I get them over, I see that I need a little bit more glue here, just a little bit, because I missed that edge. Okay. Now, I need to do this one. So I'm flipping this one over, my cute little mouse, and I need 2 here. So we're just going to keep going. So this type of binding is really works really well if you have like smaller pages or a full page that you want to keep the picture. You know, if you're making a smaller journal and you want to keep the whole picture, like I wanted to keep this full picture. I didn't want to fold it into a journal. Now I could have glued it on a page in the journal that we're making. I could have very easily done that. Very easily done that. I didn't have to do it this way, but I just like this type of binding. I think it's fun. And you know, it's just kind of mind-numbing. You just really don't have to think that much about it. After the first 2 pictures, you really don't have to think about it because it just becomes, you know, it just becomes habit. Okay. Yeah, I have the right one. Okay. Now I'm going to do the bunny rabbit. I'm going to flip her over. And I'm going to add 3. Now, if you're not sure, you know, if you think you're losing your place, then, you know, do them as you place them down. You can do that too. Like I'm placing down the first one. And then I'm going to place down the second one. So you can do it like this too. Once you get into it, if you're thinking, oh man, I'm losing my place, you can do it that way. If you're thinking to yourself, oh, now I'm really losing my place, I don't know which way I'm supposed to be going, you can do it this way. And these don't have to be small. These can be bigger books. You can make these bigger books. You know, the page number is unlimited in these books. You can put as many pages in these as you like. Okay. So let me show you what we have so far. There's the binding so far. It's nice and neat. And your pages lay flat. Oh, you got to keep them from sticking together though. Now if you're using washi tape, they won't stick together, of course, but your book will lay flat. Excuse me. There, it will lay flat, and they're quite easy to decorate. Okay, so now we have this one. We need to do 2. So I'm going to go on and just add my glue. Pull that thread off of there. Okay. Okay, now this one needs to get pulled over. Am I right? Let's see if I moved it and now yeah, that's right. add some more blue up here. Okay. Oops, I put my glue on the wrong side. Well, it's too late now. Okay. I think I did that page wrong. I think I added too many tabs on that page. That's what I think I did. Let's take a look here. Yeah, I added too many tabs on that page. That's okay. At least we know it's attached, don't we? Come on, go straight. Here we go. Get that thread off my finger. Now, what did I do? Attached it there. I attached it there. But I forgot to attach the two. I forgot to attach the two in there, didn't I? Because that's not attached. Okay, we need to... I need to attach this to this. Okay, we're going to do it this way because I didn't attach this page to the bottom page. I forgot to bring that over. Silly woman. Okay, now I can bring those up here. And I'm going to have to be really careful with them. Okay, now they're attached. So now this one gets attached. It gets 3, but that one has to come up. I thought something looked weird. Okay. Okay, this one gets these 3. Okay, now these 2 come up here. To attach it in. There we go. Now, let's make sure everything's attached here. Now we're attached. Okay. Now this one gets 2. And these 3 come up. Okay. Now we're back on track. Now this one gets 3. That little kitty cat is just so cute. Shh, don't tell the boys I said that, okay? Though Baxter does like playing with kitty cats. Have you guys been watching the Eagle cams? I have gotten into watching those baby eagle cams. Oh my gosh. They are the cutest things. Baby eagles are just, I'm telling you, they have become my new thing. Especially the ones in Big Bear Valley. Sunny and Gizmo. Let's see, is this the one that comes up? Yes. And I know there are some others. Okay, and then this one goes this way. But you know, I kind of like this against this, but I think it might be a little busy. So I think I'm going to leave it this way. So if you guys have been watching it, you know, let me know. Put something down in the comments. Let me know if you've been watching them too. You know, I asked my husband if he was watching them. And he looked at me, you know, like I had lost my mind. It's like, well, okay, you know, it was just a question. And I don't even know how they got to my, why they even showed up. But they showed up one day on my Instagram page. And I thought, oh, these are cute little fur balls. Well, those little fur balls are getting to be pretty big. They're going to be fledging pretty soon. And I've just watched them go through snowstorms and getting big. And they're just the cutest little things. Okay, we're almost done. We are almost done. And it really hasn't taken us that long. Only about 30 minutes. I can't wait to show this to you. Now the glue will have to dry, you know, before you can really go flipping and flapping through this. So, you know, give it some time for your glue to dry if you're using fabric. You know, before you start really yanking on it or anything. You know, go get a cup of coffee, go make yourself some lunch or something, and just let it, you know, open it up and just let it sit still. If you've got some pages maybe that are sticking together a little bit, open up those flat and let those sit. If it's nice outside, nice weather outside, then, you know, take it out and let it dry outside. Oh, that's our last page right there. But, you know, you want to give it a chance to dry before you're really messing with it so you don't pull them off. But if you do, it's not the last, you know, it's not going to be the last day of the earth. Just glue them back on. And if you don't, you know, you don't want to glue, you can always use a glue stick. You know, that'll work too. Okay. Wait. Did I do the right? Oh, that's not the right one. That one's the one I want. That one. There you go. Okay, last one. Now for the last one, you don't add any more. You just take the final two that are sticking up and you glue them and you bring it over. Okay. Just like that. Okay, so there's our binding right there. So let's open this up. Let's make sure nothing's sticking other than the threads that are sticking to my fingers here from picking everything up. Oh my goodness, I've glued this big thread to my finger. How about I get that off of my finger? Okay, so here's our book now. Okay, we did have a little stick in here, but we've pulled it up. Let's make sure nothing else is sticking. Oh, we got a little bit here. There we go. The fabric was sticking together. So let's come in and get this unstuck. Yeah, right here is where we missed it. But that's all right. We got it taken care of. Okay, let's get these fabric pieces unstuck here. Now, right in here, this is still a little wet, so this is most likely where I would leave this one open. It's drying, but This is where the fabric is sticking together. Because this is the most recent. This is the most recent piece. Yeah, these are still a little damp. Okay. There we go. Now, since this piece here is the loosest of them, you can go in if it feels a little wiggly. You know, if it's just a little wiggly to you, you can go in and you can add a piece of your fabric through here. You can add another, you know, one of these if you want down here, so you have tabs all the way up. But this feels pretty secure to me. But it's up to you, because I don't know what size journal you're making. So it's up to you. If your pages are, you know, if you're going to decorate your pages really big and bulky, then you can go in and down at the bottom and the top, you can put 5 tabs on your last page. So, you know, that's up to you. It depends on how big and bulky you're going to make this last page. So there we go. There is our page, or our book, all bound together. And like I said, if you want to round your corners, you can round your corners. You can ink if you want to ink. It's easier to do the inking if you do it prior to putting it together, because otherwise you're going to be jostling it around. If you want to ink your fabric prior to putting it in. I would actually ink the fabric prior to stamping it, because then it looks better. Now, I might trim some of these threads too. Now, this, I'm not going to decorate this. This is just going to be going with the book. For whoever buys the book, I'm going to let them decorate it or not decorate it. It's going to be totally up to them. But this is it right here. When we do the final flip through, I'll show this again. But there we go. It didn't take long at all to do. And I will include these 2 little pieces, so if they want to add them back here, and I'll make sure it's 3 in case they want to add and make that 5. They can do that. So I'll leave this open where it was still a little wet here in the middle. So there we go. There's our tab binding made with stamped fabric. So you can have some fun making a new style of little journal for whenever you want to do something new and different. And remember, it can be any size. It can be any book pages. So all you have to do is just remember to have 3 and then 2, 3 and then 2. And see, there we go, 3s and 2s. So it's a lot of fun to do, and it doesn't take long at all. So I'm glad you joined me today here at the Ladybug Journals, and I hope you come back for another fun video that we'll have come out for our Alice in Wonderland book, and also our other journals that we're working on. And I'm glad that you joined me today. And I want to say a great big Heidi-ho and Ladybug Flutter to our new subscribers. Thank you for joining me. We are almost to 900 subscribers. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. So thank you to everyone. It has just been fabulous having you join me. I can't believe it. You all just warm the cockles of my heart. You truly do. You truly warm my heart with everything that you've given me. Just your fellowship and your friendship. It just, oh my gosh, you guys, you just don't know. So until I see you again in our next Ladybugs Journal video, ta-ta for now.